Vancouver's downtown east side, the worst area for drug addicts in Canada. You end up here, you've reached rock bottom. Fentanyl and the opioid crisis has reached epidemic levels. Last year, 914 people lost their lives to fentanyl or other drug-related overdose. It was a record year. It's now March 2017 and we're on pace to shatter that mark from last year. In February 2017, the Government of Canada offered $65 million in support for people struggling with the opioid crisis. The BC Government and Services Employment Union called an emergency meeting on February 27th so people could come and share their stories from the front line.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name's Patrick Smith, and this is one of the programs we operate, Culture Saves Lives. And I just wanted to touch off some of the things I heard. But first of all, and thank you for taking a moment to honor our relatives who have crossed over to the other side. A big part of my work is being able to facilitate memorials in the downtown side. And I've gone to more this last winter than a long, long time. So I just want to sing a song, to offer help and hope to each and every one of us.
First of all, my name is Stephanie Smith, and I am the president of the BC Government and Service Employees Union, and I understand a number of people in the room are our members. I want to thank you for taking time out of your incredibly busy lives to join us this evening on this incredibly important topic. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge that we are very privileged to be gathering here tonight on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. So we have lost so many to this opioid crisis. Friends, clients, brothers, sisters, daughters, sons, and it's been over 1,000 in the last year and a bit. And I'm going to ask everybody to just join me in a moment of silence to give tribute and honor to those that we have lost over the last year. Thank you. So for many years, workers and volunteers have been working in this community, the downtown east side, but also in communities all around the province to address the underlying causes of addiction. Causes like mental health, poverty, racism, violence, misogyny, and government neglect. Sadly, governments can be very slow to support this work, and sometimes we might even say they're neglectful. With recent announcements of federal funding that has come online to address the opioid crisis, it is vital that decision makers hear from you, the workers on the front lines who are bearing witness to the fentanyl, carfentanil, and drug addiction crisis every single day. And so we've called this meeting to give all of you a chance to raise your voice. Your contribution to this discussion is vital. Thank you again so very much for coming this evening, and I'm going to turn it over now to our treasurer, Paul Finch, who is going to MC the night. Thank you.
I want to thank the subject matter experts that come tonight. We've got Al Fowler from the president of the BC Association of People on Methadone. We have Matthew Johnston, a professional firefighter in Surrey and a registered clinical counselor specializing in trauma, and Monroe Craig and Cameron Schwartz from Carmick, a West Coast harm reduction organization. So first, I'd like to invite Al up to offer some remarks.
Hello, my name is Al. I am the president of the British Columbia Association of People on Methadone, which is we are an advocacy group for people on methadone. We fight for their rights. We help them with complaints with the doctors, with the pharmacists, stuff like that. This crisis was called last April or so. So it was like 4, 5, 6 months before the government did anything. And really all they did is they just threw naloxone out there. They made it available to everybody. They did a lot of naloxone training, which is great. We were going out into the alleys. We were there 12 hours a day from 10 in the morning till 10 at night. We did like 3-4 hour shifts was the deal. But what we would do, we carried our naloxone with us. We'd been trained in basic first aid and stuff. And so we were really responding to ODs, and we were only doing 4-hour shifts, and every 4-hour shift there was a minimum of 2 or 3 ODs that I would have to attend to myself. I figure over the whole time that we did that for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But while we were doing that, I figure I probably intervened in probably 20, 25 ODs.
Yeah, like I said, my name is Cameron. I'm basically just going to explain what we do as a harm reduction organization. So what that involves is we come to people from a position of non-judgment as best we can. And so we try to help people stay as safe as possible and respecting the fact that they're going to make their own decisions. So what our outreach program usually looks like is we have a component of education. So we have a lot of distributable material that we hand out, try to educate people about safer use as best we can. We also have resources, harm reduction supplies, safer sex supplies, and that kind of thing. And we also do a lot of peer counseling work in various venues, whether that's music festivals, underground shows, raves, and that kind of thing.
So what we started doing with Karmic is that we started running naloxone sessions. So I'm a naloxone trainer, and I started running bi-weekly sessions out of my office. And I definitely have seen a surge in population for people that attend. And we tended to find people that said, hey, wow, this is really great and I want to be here, but I didn't know how to access it otherwise. And I didn't feel safe enough to access it otherwise. Because a lot of the trainings that were happening were really great and well organized, but they were in spaces that unfortunately or fortunately these people would not choose to access.
Lastly, Matthew Johnson. And Matthew, I understand that you've had a lot of direct experience with overdoses in your capacity as a firefighter. I'd like to invite you up to talk for a bit. And then we'll open up to a discussion. Thanks.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry that I was running a bit late. I came right from the fire hall to be here tonight, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak on this matter. Before I begin, I'll just give you a little bit of background on my career because it's a little bit out of the ordinary. I'm a mental health professional. I was in private practice from 2007 until 2016. Now, the challenging part for some frontline workers is that maybe you don't have all the equipment you need to properly do these type of interventions. So for instance, a firefighter will have a team of usually 4 people, and fentanyl overdoses tend to be quite intensive, right? Compressions, bag valve masking, hooking up AED, withdrawing naloxone, I'm sure you've all seen it stuff. What I want to talk a little bit about is how this trauma can build cumulatively and really impact your life. And I think the vast majority of us know how that impacts us in terms of our stress levels. So when we experience a traumatic encounter, if you think of my hand as a brain, there's a part of our brain right in the base of it called the limbic system. And that's essentially our stress reaction. And the key component to the limbic system is the amygdala. And the amygdala basically signals to our body to get those stress hormones going. Those stress hormones are slow acting and they're very powerful. Cortisol and adrenaline primarily are the stress hormones. And I know when I've been at a traumatic encounter at work, my legs are just like rocks afterwards. And that is how powerful these stress hormones can be. That the fentanyl overdoses are on pace in 2017 to double from 2016. So the spikes that we saw in November and December are continuing to be the new norm. So unfortunately, we can talk about how this crisis is affecting us, but unfortunately it's probably going to affect society on a much greater scale in the coming months and years, and hopefully over time it will stabilize. But I'm hoping that as we do our roundtable discussions, I can walk around and discuss with you some of the healthy lifestyle self-check measures that we can take for ourselves to stay emotionally healthy in the field that we're working in. So thank you very much.
My greatest concern, the reason I'm here tonight, is to talk about our broken foster care system. Many of my clients, many of our clients are previous foster care children, either aged out of the system and had nowhere to go because there are no programs, or had previously been in foster care. What causes addiction is still unknown. However, a lack of love, a lack of compassion, a lack of being touched in some type of loving or caring way, these children don't receive that. Our foster care system and our group homes are full of very abusive, very intimidating, very terrifying situations for these kids. They are re-traumatized every single day when they have to go to these places, and our government forces them to be there. Children are literally killing themselves instead of being at these places, and then they come to us when they're 19 years or older, because that is the age that we allow them to access services. I don't want more clients. I want that situation to be fixed.
Another topic at our table was people who are racialized and marginalized and don't receive the same access to care, right down to basic care. People who are racialized struggling to receive treatment for just common cold. So I think, when we try to discuss what kind of supports or training could be there, just an open and honest conversation about those who are racialized and marginalized in our communities and how they struggle to access care. So,
Truth of the matter is, frontline workers are struggling. And I'm quite involved in the BC Professional Firefighters Association in developing a variety of different mental health initiatives for first responders. And what I want to really relay here, if you leave with anything that I say tonight, is take back the idea that we need to start networking. Because what happens when we go to a particularly traumatic call, we have it instigates a critical incident stress process, which is a peer-led diffusing, where another firefighter from another hall comes and they lead a discussion about what we've just witnessed. And we can break that traumatic situation into digestible pieces and hopefully prevent the cumulative trauma from building up over years.
I think the panelists again, Stephanie for her remarks, and especially Stefan and James for all the work that they put into logistics tonight and being able to open up the space and kind of have everything set up for everyone. So thank you guys, and thanks everyone. We're going to continue to keep trying to communicate with people, and especially try and bring people together and amplify the voice of not just our members, but everyone, I think, across this field that's working right now to try and into concrete policy solutions as well that'll help both alleviate the crisis, but also protect you guys and the work that you're doing. So thank you all very much for what you do. Thanks everyone, and thanks again, Stefan and James.